if you're going to be representing yourself in court, is get a lawyer if you possibly can. But if you can't, that's why you're watching this. If you have a criminal case, figure out what your charge is, call Westlaw. Ask them to help you do a search for a secondary.
Whenever another intelligence intervenes between you and the text of the law itself, we're dealing with a secondary source.
And it really needs to be probably an ALR or an AMJUR. If you have a civil case, you might be lucky and you might get a whole digest about it. I assume that there might be digests about criminal cases too, but I've never sought one out. That's just for starters. I called this number and talked to them a bit. They said if I look up digest, it should tell me all the digests that they sell for Westlaw. So I'm showing you that search. When you listen to a case or a secondary or something like crunch time, like Googling it. And about 8 years ago, I was taking a math class, and I could actually just take the problem and put it directly into the internet, like 1 + 1 =, and it would actually give me the answer if somebody had put that answer in, like from a textbook. That's how helpful the internet can be now. I mean, the internet is not 100% reliable, but if you hit the same answer a few times, well, you know it's probably true, right? It's either true or a paid corporate lobbyist or a group of paid corporate lobbyists are up to no good. So if you come up with something or come across even a phrase like part of a sentence, put it in exactly like that. Like if you're listening to a case and it says part of a sentence, especially if you think it might be, technical terms, put it into Google and see what comes up.
Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing
number 18, Roe against Wade.
Argument first this morning, number 86-1278, Hustler Magazine and Larry C. Flint versus Jerry Falwell. Mr. Isaacman, you may proceed whenever you're ready. We'll hear argument next in number 9838, Shirley M. Molzoff versus the United States.
Okay, I have called a couple local law schools because there are only a couple law schools in Colorado. I called DU, there's no reference librarian, and I called CU, and I just don't feel like I got everything like 100% down, but I'm going to call and verify how you identify a Supreme Court case, and I am showing this list of law schools because who cares who you call? Are they going to say, hey, do you live locally? Now, some of them are private and some of them are public. And the public ones, your tax dollars pay for. The private ones, they don't. So you might want to keep that in mind when you call. But this is Sunday when I'm doing this. Okay, I'm going to call Stanford because why not? I need to call someone who's actually open today. And Stanford, I would feel like is probably open now. What I mean by open is I'm trying to call a reference librarian. The library is open at these places. The reference librarian, however, is not there. Okay, I finally heard back from Stanford. She was never going to... I got a hold of a reference librarian that was a she. She was probably never going to be sending me anything back on email. It's a private school. I didn't pay attention to that. Private schools may or may not help you. She was willing to answer my phone question, but not send me an email. So she explained it to me. S.CT is Supreme Court reporter, and then U.S. is United States reports. So I showed a picture of them. DU is probably never going to call me back. Like, if I don't actually get a hold of them, they're probably not going to email me. Again, they don't have an obligation to. I don't pay for their school in any way, so if they want to be nice, they can, but they don't have to. So you've got to make it easy on them. A public school has more of an obligation to help you. There are other ones, but they're very much less common than these two. So these are probably what you're going to see, and this is probably enough information. You probably don't need to know every conceivable person that does reports on what the Supreme Court did. These are the two big ones. Your state will usually follow the Supreme Court, but not always. This is something you have to verify on Westlaw by checking the key site. It will say if there's a red flag that your state is proposing legislation against it, or that could be a yellow or a red flag, or a red flag that your state has a different law and the federal government just hasn't taken action against them on account of that. I searched for the Criminal Law Digest at CU and DU and didn't find it just by searching on the website for the law school library of either one. The next step is to call the reference librarian and ask if they have that and ask what they do have. And then decide if you're going to be going to that law school or a further away one.
And now it just goes on.